going to talk about this book today, Malibu Rising by Taylor Jenkins Reid. I am a little late to this party. I just read it a couple days ago. This is the very first book that I have read of Taylor Jenkins Reid, but it won't be the last because I thoroughly enjoyed it and I recommend it to you. One of the reasons I thoroughly enjoyed it is setting. Malibu Rising. I am clearly not in Malibu. I am clearly surrounded by snow. Actually, I was in the minus 30s this morning, negative 30s Celsius. Not sure what that is Fahrenheit. It's cold. So the setting of this book, lots of times you think of these books as summer reads on the beach. Let me tell you, if you live where I live, escape. You escape to Malibu. I loved the setting. I loved that it talked about the beach. I loved the surfing, bikinis, bathing suits. I mean, everything that I am not surrounded with right now. I'm surrounded with snow, snow, snow. Lots of snow. So I loved the setting of it. I also liked when it was set. In the 80s. Well, it had flashbacks to the 50s, 60s when the parents were getting together, but it also had a lot of the 80s. The whole book revolves around the 24 hours leading up and including an end of summer party that one of the main characters, the siblings, the oldest sibling, has a tradition. And the 80s, I lived through the 80s. I was a teenager in the 80s. I loved it when she described what they're wearing, their hair, teased hair, shoulder pads. I just really enjoyed that. So, perfect. Another category that I judge books on is just pure and simple entertainment. Was I entertained? Yes, I was entertained. The book is broken up into part 1 and part 2. Part 1 is all backstory leading up to the party. Part 2 is the party. I liked part 1 better. The party is great, but there's so many characters. She just brought in a crazy amount of characters, and a little bit hard to follow even at times because there were so many characters. Maybe I'll read it again in the summer on the beach. Then you'll pay attention, oh yeah, that was that character, and you'll get to know more. But still, extremely entertaining, easy to read. Triggers. We never used to talk about triggers. Certainly in the 80s we never talked about triggers, but nowadays, triggers. There's some things that could trigger you in this book. Alcoholism, infidelity, divorce. So if any of those themes sort of aren't your cup of tea, then don't read it. So those are some of the triggers. If you don't enjoy having any of those sort of themes in a book, don't get this one. But Taylor Jenkins Reid did a really good job of making it believable without getting too heavy about it. So yes, there's alcoholism, yes, there's infidelity. So if you've dealt with that in your life, you can relate to some of these characters and how they're feeling, but it's not dwelled on. The main thing is this party, these 4 siblings, their father, who's a Hollywood singer, superstar. I guess the father in the book here, Nick Riva, I think that's how you say his name. He showed up in one of her other books, The 7 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo, so I will definitely be getting that book. I love a little crossover between books. Characters, like I said before, there's 4 siblings, and you basically follow them along Their mother is part of the story, their father's part of the story, a big part of the story, their grandparents a little bit, some of their friends, who they're married to. So there's little subplots everywhere, but it mainly focuses on the 4 siblings. And that's interesting. They all have a little different personalities based on, a lot of it's based on birth order and what age they were when certain things happened, when divorce happened, and how they cope with it. And I have 3 children. I see that in my own 3 children. The firstborn, you know, stereotypically is this way. The baby of the family is this way. And I enjoyed that part of the book, seeing these characters develop. And so yeah, characters, really good job. A little bit too many characters in the second part of the book. The party, too much going on. You get a little bit more if you read it twice. Setting, loved the setting. Maybe because it's the exact opposite of where I am. Entertainment value, very high, easy read, quick read, and I would recommend it. I'm going to give it 4.5 stars. I'm going to definitely get her other books. Check them out. I'm just recently getting back into fiction. I generally am a non-fiction sort of girl, but needed a little escapism, a little Malibu. So I recommend it. 4.5 stars. Go get it, read it. Follow me on Goodreads. Thanks for watching.